जरूरत नहीं है। बहुत धूप लग रही है। हाँ वही तो कह रहे हैं आप। एनीवे अब चंद्रभानु है भाई। I have to follow the order of Chandrabhanu. I generally follow the order of Patnaik family. So anything that comes from Patnaik family with that great linguistic pleasure and also, the new sounds of poetry, always, look back to Dada and listen to what's being happening. So back here, once again, welcome all of you, those who are here, those who are here and there, and still getting ready for 12th edition of Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival. So once again, thank you everyone, those who have been with us for, ages. We are, going to release a book about Chandrabhaga. So that's kind of a ageless, mythic, real river, also river of poetry. So we are here. uh, there is a bright sunny day out here in Konark. So I'm going to assure that those who have come from more sunnier sides of the country and the sunnier side of the language, not on the always in the egg sunny side up, but sun is little strong right now. So please enjoy the sunshine. And those who come from France and other parts of the world, they are most welcome once again. Once again, give them a big hand, please. I mean, like they are not foreign, they are integral to us, I mean, the foreign term is a part of the binary, so we just junk that foreign world. Everybody is part of the larger, the world of poetry and poetry thinking and much beyond that, And I can see that Asuba is here getting ready, perhaps for the next Academy Award, I guess. Congratulations, Asuba, once again. I mean, every time we come here, we really celebrate your work. So once again, we get this opportunity. And Basudev Bhai is here, and we met after Basudev Bhai. एक कुर्सी लगाइए वासुदेव भाई के लिए यार। हाँ, वासुदेव भाई आइए, आइए प्लीज, आइए कम ना। वासुदेव भाई ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, ना ना, it doesn't, आइए, is my humble request. Yeah, a friend's request. No, 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 brother's request. Otherwise I'm coming to pick you up. Yeah, आइए। आंसू भाई भी, आप भी आइए। आप भी आंसू भाई भी बैठेंगे, आंसू भाई भी बैठेंगे, सब कुर्सी लगा रहे, आंसू भाई भी ए नहीं, नहीं नहीं, हमारे आदर्श आप भी हैं। नहीं, ऑडियंस में ना आइए। सो हाँ, उधर है, हाँ, आंसू भाई आज। सो चंद्रभानु, प्लीज ज्वाइन मी हियर। हाँ, Chandrabhaga is to be more on a scholarly, like a VC role. So, आ जाइए. So the way he prepares himself and keeps chiding me and scolding for a small little, mistakes I keep making. Yeah, always. Everybody makes mistake, Don't be make mistakes. सरोज कहाँ? सरोज. हाँ सरोज बाबू आइए, हाँ खड़े होने के लिए आइए ना कम से कम, आइए। Saroj. The team, I guess, So give him, Saroj, a big hand, as always, organizing. It's not easy to find people, in different parts of the state, locating them, kind of, telling them that, look, get ready. It's kind of sending alert that festival is coming. Nahi? Send your pictures, send your bio, something you keep sending. It's not easy to organize this festival, humbly speaking, I mean, like all of us, there is no team here, there's hardly anything, no resources. And, given the circumstances of the country, you can see that we have very few things available with us. But somehow, the team that has done this work once again for organizing 12th, edition of the Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival. Before I hand over to, Chandrabhanu, but let me single, I'm not singling out anyone amongst us, but certainly Sanjogita has been a pillar, so big hand, and she has really, I mean, like, let me confess also at the beginning that the book that you are going to see is largely his insistence, I had a fracture, so after 3 or 4 months, the first time I have traveled without wheelchair or a stick in my hand. So she told me, when you are, taking a bed rest completely, do the book, And the price that I have paid, I will tell you in the later, I will tell you of doing this book, But thank you, Sanjogita, for, doing this, inspiring us to do this monumental work for Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival. And then Saroj is always there, Anytime you want anything from Saroj, Saroj is there. And then between all of these things, there has to be somebody at the center of the earth. And that center of the earth is none other than, there is another Patnaik, and he's here, Chandrabhanu. Give him a big hand, big hand, we are friends, and been together, in this journey. And thank you for Chandrabhanu. So over to Chandrabhanu to say a few words, and then Professor Mohanty will deliver his welcome speech.
I have very little to say after Ashwini. Nobody can follow him. Okay. But just to say, welcome all of you. This has been a wonderful journey, 12 years now, and let's hope it continues. Okay. Thank you. I'll now hand it over to Professor Mohanty to take on the proceedings.
Namaskar. Hello. ମୁଁ ପ୍ରଥମେ ଦେବ ଭାଇଙ୍କୁ ନମସ୍କାର କରୁଛି। ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରେରଣା ଆମକୁ ଖାଲି ଏଇ କାମରେ ନାହିଁ, ଗଲା 60 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ ମୋତେ ବହୁତ ପ୍ରେରଣା ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି, ବହୁତ କାମରେ। ସେ ସୁସ୍ୱାସ୍ଥ୍ୟ ରଖି ଏମିତି ଆମକୁ ପ୍ରେରଣା ଦେଇ ଚାଲନ୍ତୁ। And I welcome Laura and Eve from France. And you have a third colleague. I don't know his name. Thank you. Welcome. What's his name? Seven. Okay, Seven. Welcome. Thank you. We look forward to your performance this evening. Friends, that is the team, and Savita didn't stand there, but that is our team. This effort continues because of two reasons, two sources of support. One is the poetry community, the progressive poetry community of Orissa, who had initiated this, and the Centurion team, and now I should say Centurion and Institute of Knowledge Societies team, which backed it up right from 2014. And Ashwini has been a great support. So that is the complete picture of the team. Today, we are very happy to welcome Devdas Chotrai, our old friend, poet, writer, and whose initiatives in Odisha have been a major inspiration for many groups. And once earlier, he was here as a poet. And we are grateful that today he is, we don't have a keynote address. We just wanted to have him and have him with us as a part of our team. This festival is different from all the other festivals going on in the state in two ways. Firstly, it is a modest initiative. Right now, a big Kalinga Literature Festival is going on in Mayfair Hotel. And just a few weeks ago, the Sikha Anusandhan University, SOA, had its annual festival. In fact, some of you attended that, I know. Therefore, there are many festivals, but this has a specific mission. The mission is that it is about poetry of liberation. Eta Mukti Chetanar got Sambhar. And people's problems, not all poets feel attracted to the kind of problems that have engaged you in your poetry. And this group of poets is very clearly committed to carrying on that tradition. And so poetry has to be rich, innovative, full of symbolisms, alliterations, and somebody said a good poem changes the world. In other words, the reader has a new experience after reading that poem. We miss Jayant Mahapatra very much. He had that deep humanism and the poetic quality. And the poetic quality are in evolving, innovative, and full of surprises, and that's what creative exercise of all kinds is all about. So this is the group that is united here and many online, is a group committed to connecting themselves with people's problems, people's aspirations, especially oppressed people's aspirations. Right now, from Trump's invasion and kidnapping in Venezuela to persisting Dadan labor in our state, we have, and the many movements all over the world raising issues of ecology, destruction of cultures, lack of livelihood resources, increasing inequalities, everyday violence and alienation arising out of many new policies, and so on. But we quietly reflect and sometimes outraged, of course, and we express that in poetry. So celebrating poetry, celebrating imaginations. Imaginations are all about this new, more peaceful, more prosperous, more egalitarian, more fulfilling reality. And we are at a stone's throw from a great institution of poetic sculpture, Konark Temple, and we celebrate it all the time. So friends, we welcome you again. And I have two requests. Please share your ideas about how we should take it forward. We have traveled 12 years already, and we are happy. It's continuing and it's vibrant, but just inform us, share with us your views about how to take it forward, where we can do things differently, number one. Secondly, I wish to be promoted. I urge you to promote me. I hope you get my message. So somebody has to also take this initiative, and I would like to know your suggestions. So once again, thank you, Supriya, for the Centurion support. And we have number of new things, as you will see. We have been able to encourage the renewal of the great Chandrabhaga journal, Jayanta Mahapatra's journal. You will see that released. And the Jayanta Mahapatra legacy is part of our process. And that will be reflected again in this program. And so these 2 days, I hope you enjoy and help each other in taking this sensibility of liberation forward. Thank you very much.
So now I would like to invite Professor Supriya to say a few words and welcome all of you. Since beginning, of this festival, People's Poetry Festival, Centurion has been an amazing partner and with a rare sensibility across the campuses. If you look at the campuses around the country, I mean, like Centurion stands out. So please welcome, this fine gesture, one of the rare campuses where people's poetry is nurtured. So over to Supriya, and also the way, Supriya herself contributed to the making of this book, for the River of Songs. So I would like to invite her. And
Thank you, Ashwin. Uh, Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Poetry Festival. Um, I'm always at a loss of words when I come here because I find uh, this genre a very difficult one. I sometimes try to dabble with it and have failed miserably. So I myself kind of have great appreciation for the poets, young and those who have been at it for so long. Uh, I enjoy poetry. I enjoy reading poetry. So just a few words because he insisted that I speak about it, and I kind of keep saying that. What does it mean coming from a university which talks about technology and management? But as he rightly said, we have 6 campuses with in the most underserved, uh, geographically challenged areas. So and that was, in fact, it's quite deliberate that we did that. But because we've been a university which is focused on technology and management, we recognize and we kind of promote all these things which actually are defined by speed, data, and relentless immediacy. We're surrounded by information, yet often starved of meaning. Poetry matters precisely because it asks us to pause, to listen carefully, to choose words responsibly, and to attend to what lies beneath the surface of things. Poetry restores depth in a culture that risks becoming flat. And I think what I'm trying to say here, and I kind of keep trying to tell my students all the time, is that we really need to pause. And I think that's what is the single message that I keep for myself as well. And I have been trying to find avenues where young people can actually let their creative selves, uh, you know, express itself. So thank you very much. This is the 12th edition, and I hope that we will continue to support it. I know as long as I am there, at least I will continue to support it. And it's been a wonderful journey because I've seen it also grow. And thanks to all the people who have been the backbone of it, who have supported it. Thanks, Dr. Manonan Manti. And we, as he also said, that we really miss Professor Jayant Mahapatra. Uh, I'm very happy at the release of this book today, the launch of the book. And I hope, I was just talking to Chandrabhaga and I said, look, can we have books from all the previous editions of the festival? So I think it will be wonderful if we can do that. That will be wonderful, and I hope we can get a series then, and we'll continue to have one with every season. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your kind words and encouragement. I'll request now Dr. Devi Prasanna Patnaik, eminent linguist and scholar, to say a few words.
welcome to the Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival. कदाचित कालीन नहीं तटविपिन संगीत करबो उदा भैरु रारी बदर कमल साधु मधुप रमा संबद बदना नरपति गणेशचित पदो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नाम पथगामी बहुत में. We begin everything by paying obeisance to Jagannath. Jagannath is not only the Lord of Odisha, he is the Lord of the universe. Therefore, we start everything with obeisance with him. I'll begin with few quotes. The first one is by me. Chandrabhaga is a river. Chandrabhaga is a metaphor. Here the sun god of work plays hide and seek with Chaya, its own shadow. Flowers bloom in every winter. Poetry flows from all dimensions. It becomes a festival. Second quote is by Jayant Mahapatra, who says that it is poetry that unites us. It's very important to know how poetry unites us. I don't want to go ahead and discuss more about it. The third quote is from Shapira. Poetry is a companion in a quest for meaning. Poetry is not a luxury, but a necessity. An art that expands imagination, nurtures empathy, and strengthens our collective spirit. These are the quotes with which we begin. I would like to tell you that, that I have to say a word about language. Language is the medium of human communication. Without language, there is no human society, there is no human culture. Therefore, language is the medium of poetry. So, I have to say a few things in Odia. Kavita is prakriti. It is environment. ମଣିଷ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ପୂର୍ବରୁ ପଞ୍ଚଭୂତର ପୃଥିବୀରେ ମାଟି, ପାଣି, ପବନ, ଆଲୁଅ, ଆକାଶ ଗୀତ ଗାଇ ପରସ୍ପର ସହ କଥା ହେଉଥିଲେ. କୁଳୁ କୁଳୁ, ସୁଲୁ ସୁଲୁ, ସୁ ସୁ, ଘୁ ଘୁ, ବିଜୁଳିର ଚମକ, ମେଘର ଘଡ଼ଘଡ଼ି, ଚରଚରି ଆଦି ଭାବ ବିରୋଧିଆ ପ୍ରକୃତିର ବାର୍ତ୍ତା ବିନିମୟର ମାଧ୍ୟମ ଥିଲା. ମଣିଷ ହେଲା ପରେ ଭାଷାର ସୃଷ୍ଟି. ଏହି ଭାଷା ମୁଖ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ବାୟୁ ପ୍ରବାହର ନିୟନ୍ତ୍ରିତ ରୂପ. ଭାବ ବିନିମୟ ପାଇଁ ଭାଷା. ପ୍ରଥମେ ଭାଷା ଶୁଣି ଶୁଣି ମନେ କରାଯାଉଥିଲା. ଗାଇ ଗାଇ ଗୋଟିଏ ଗୋଷ୍ଠୀରୁ ଅନ୍ୟ ଗୋଷ୍ଠୀକୁ ପ୍ରସାରିତ ହେଉଥିଲା. The earliest poetry, the earliest written poetry of the world, Rigveda, has a verse which says, the world is our mother and we all living beings are its children. Which means we all are related to one another through fraternity. That is what Jayant meant when he says that poetry unites us. ସବୁ କବିତା ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଗୋଟେ ଗପ ଅଛି. ସବୁ ଗପ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଗୋଟେ କବିତା ଅଛି. ଶବ୍ଦ ଚୟନ, ଶବ୍ଦ ଗୁମ୍ଫନ, ଶବ୍ଦ ଲଗ୍ନ, ଲଳିତ ଶବ୍ଦ ସଂଯୋଜନ ଗୋଟିକୁ ଅନ୍ୟଠାରୁ ଅଲଗା କରେ. ପାଠ୍ୟ ଗେୟ ହୁଏ ଏବଂ ଗେୟ ପାଠ୍ୟ ହୁଏ. ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ଉତ୍କଳିକା, ବୃତ୍ତଗନ୍ଧି, ଚୂର୍ଣ୍ଣକ ଆଦି 6 ପ୍ରକାର ଗଦ୍ୟ ଗେୟ. ଦାଣ୍ଡିବୃତ୍ତ, ଅକ୍ଷରବୃତ୍ତ ହେଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଏଥିରେ ଅକ୍ଷର ସାମ୍ୟ ନାହିଁ. ଗୋଟିଏ ଧାଡ଼ିରେ 9 ଅକ୍ଷର, ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟରେ 23 ଅକ୍ଷର। ଏହା ଉଭୟ ପାଠ୍ୟ ଏବଂ ଗେୟ। ଗଦ୍ୟ ମନକୁ ମନ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଯୋଡ଼େ, କବିତା ହୃଦୟକୁ ହୃଦୟ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଯୋଡ଼େ। It is very important to know that prose is what links human mind with human mind. Prose is that kind of construction which links one mind with another mind. It is based on argumentation and on materials. That is prose. Poetry is what links one heart with another one. It links ଅନୁଭୂତି, ଅନୁଭବ, ଅନୁଭବକୁ ଗୋଟେ ହୃଦୟରୁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହୃଦୟ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଯୋଡ଼େ। କବି ଓ କବିତା ମଧ୍ୟରେ ସମ୍ପର୍କ ଅଦ୍ଭୁତ। ଅପୂର୍ବ ଶବ୍ଦ ସଂଯୋଜନରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଅଦ୍ଭୁତ ଶବ୍ଦ ସହବାସ ଫଳରେ ପାଠକର ମନ ଓ ଅନୁଭବକୁ ଆପଣାର ଅନୁଭବ ସୌନ୍ଦର୍ଯ୍ୟ ବୋଧ ସହିତ ଯୋଡ଼େ, ସେତେବେଳେ କବିତା ରସୋତ୍ତୀର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହୋଇଥାଏ। ସାହିତ୍ୟର ବିଭିନ୍ନ ବିଭାଗ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଇଙ୍ଗିତ ଧର୍ମୀ କବିତା ଏକ ଉତ୍କୃଷ୍ଟ ଆବେଦନ। ଏଥିରେ ଥିବା ଚିତ୍ରକଳ୍ପ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ କେବଳ ବୌଦ୍ଧିକ ସ୍ତରରେ କମ୍ପନ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ, ଅନୁଭବ ସ୍ତରରେ ଛାଇ ଆଲୁଅର ଖେଳ ଖେଳନ୍ତି। କବି ଯେତିକି ଭାବପ୍ରବଣ ସେତିକି ଅଭିମାନୀ। ଏହି ଅଭିମାନରେ ଲୁଚିଥାଏ ଅସୁବାରୀ ଭାବରୂପ। ଏହି ଭାବରୂପର ଆତ୍ମାଭିବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ପାଇଁ କବି ଗଢ଼େ ଶବ୍ଦର ପାହାଚ। ଏହି ପାହାଚରେ ଆରୋହଣ ଅବରୋହଣ ମଧ୍ୟରେ କବି ଓ କବିତାର ପରିଚୟ। ଏହି ପରିଚୟର ଆବେଗ ଭରା ରଙ୍ଗ ରୂପରେ ପାଠକ ହୃଦୟ ଓଦା ହୁଏ। ଏହା ହିଁ କବିତାର ସାର୍ଥକତା। ଏହି ହେଲା ମୋର କହିବା କଥା। ଏଠି ଉପସ୍ଥିତ କବି, ଲେଖକ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଆଉ ଅଧିକ କ'ଣ ବା କହିବି, ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରଣାମ, ନମସ୍କାର।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर आपको आशीर्वाद लगे। आमर जड़े रेगुलर कवि कवि बंशीधर चौधरी 8 दिसंबर को चली गले। हमारे एक सपोर्टिव और रेगुलर कवि बंशीधर चौधरी 8 दिसंबर को उनका देहांत हो गया। तो मैं आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ कि 2 मिनट उनके लिए मौन व्रत रखें। Thank you so much. Now I request Chandrabhaga ji to give to felicitate.
We will take a little bit of, as the culture of this place is felicitation. We'll always do it. So, sir, please, sir. Give it money. Then I keep going, because it really sounds travel across the sea also. The louder the better, About, next, sir. And अच्छा ठीक है, अच्छा ठीक है। And yes, sir, आप बैठे रहे सर, you can please continue to. और नरेंद्र भाई, पुंडरीक भाई is our very prestigious Hindi journal Martyrs संपादक, very progressive, and I'm traveling from Kanpur, Allahabad, and finally reached here. First time here. So, first time here. सविता जी को हाँ निकले मैं आपकी अच्छा हाँ हाँ, हाँ, और बसु भाई के लिए भी हाँ बसु भाई आइए यहाँ से आंसू भाई से शुरू करते हैं। आंसू भाई लेट्स टू यू नो मैं पहले आंसू भाई अरे भाई सांसद की ही के तरफ से आया है ये सब कम फ्रॉम सेंचुरियन This is all Centurion's gift, you know. And then our French poet, you know, please, बोला उनको. Eames, Eames and Lara, please join. I mean, like, otherwise I'll be making you and we'll start calling you Baba Didi. Please. है ना? Lara, please join us. है ना? हाँ, कुछ उधर सब उधर प्लीज प्लीज आप फोटो पिक्चर्स है ना स्टार्ट किया अभी भी हाँ या that's the culture yeah yeah brother yeah thank you so I mean this year ऐसे हाँ this year yeah the glory yeah please, I'm forgetting my name, but Arun is the most known like 7 yeah. It's also very central, you know. Yeah, Sanskrit. And you can see the. Uh, yeah, yeah. Please, yeah, आज accept कर. Yeah. इधर आ जाओ, हाँ. So you can see the entire, you know, Indo-French collaboration. You can see, yeah, na? And also they see, you know, the tallest is a very central person from France. I mean, like the tradition of Orissa goes there as well, you know, Lord Jagannatha's tradition. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll start, you know, coming a very auspicious moment. We're going to, Saroj, please join in the book release. आइए. So, कहाँ है किताबें किधर? हाँ, हाँ. So the book release, you know, River of Songs and dedicated to all of you, people's poetry, Prakriti's poetry, and the poetry that has been flowing endlessly. So, sir, Centurion, this is largely, you know, done by Centurion's contributions and also the personal contributions of Professor Supriya and Chandrabhanu, Saroj, Sanjogita, and yeah, Sarane. And yeah, that's all. Sanjogita, please help open it. Yeah. I Saroj this side. Saroj this side. And also I want to name people who have done so much for this collection. Is missing is Red River founder, you know, Dibya. Dibya has been amazing publisher for poetry. And Durga knows very well that how much trouble he takes till the final print. It's not easy work to do. And I also, you know, thank IKKS and also Indian Novice Collective contributed financially also. So please, you can look at one of the most, you know, glorious, you know, aspects of this. The cover page is designed by none other than Jayant Parmar Sahib. You know, please, you know, give him a one of the most iconic Dalit poet, painter, and Sahitya Academy Award winner, an amazing person, you know. His luminous presence is all over and all over the pages of this book, you know, River of Songs. And excellent.
The editors are Ashwini Kumar, Chandrabhanu Patnaik, Sanjogita Mishra, and Saroj. Let's give a big hand to all of them. Thank you. Thank you.
So here we are, and this is the if those there. I also want to know the support that we have received. So there is a beautiful book by Babu, and you know the great man is here. And then we have Anju Mukherjee, one of the leading writers, playwright, and poets based in Bombay. And then we have Manu Rao, a very sensational and renowned poet. And then we have, you know, Kim Singh from Northeast. So you can see the names, you know. If you look at the endorsement, you can see the aesthetic range and the poetic range of Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival and this anthology. We have about 149. And then we have 75 parts from various languages, you know, and in addition to Odisha, in addition to Odia language, Chandrabhanu. Yeah, this is also open for sale, and has a 50% discount. And you can buy it because we really, I mean, like, we're thanking Centurion University for really taking care, and also in the Novice Collective and IKS. It's not easy to publish this kind of production, it takes a lot of cost. So it's just a small little contribution will go to kind of, producing similar works. And as Professor Manti rightly mentioned, and, we're expecting from to speak about removal of songs. Sir, next to, next, sir. Next, other releases here also Chandrabhaga. So we also have, Savita Ji's, this is a book, Prem Bhai Ek Hi Atma Hai. So finally releasing Chandrabhaga, उनके हाथ में दो. Yes, sir. Yes. And second book is Vasna Ek Nadi Ka Naam Hai. Vasna Ek Nadi Ka Naam Hai. So you can see the shift, and here. Vasna Ek Nadi Ka Naam Hai. Sir, Savita जी के हाथ में. रवि बाबू की प्लीज ज्वाइन अस. रवि बाबू किधर है हमारे? हम देखिए रवि बाबू हैं. हाँ आएंगे. हाँ हाँ. नेक्स्ट सर. How basically, Ravi Babu. Next is, the legacy of, Chandrabhaga continues, as you have seen in the number of songs as well. So here is the man, the man behind, Chandrabhaga and several editions of Chandrabhaga. Who means, with personality, Jayanta Babu. Please, Ravi Babu. कहाँ है जन? हाँ. या वो भी आ रहे थे वो. दीपक समंतरा. आइए. रवि बाबू इधर है. हाँ, सामने. That's please. Give a really big hand. Very big hand. है ना? उनके हाथों से एकदम बिल्कुल बड़े बड़े हाथ है. हाँ ना? बिल्कुल. I must be going to Jayanta Babu. नहीं दीदी अपना दीदी is here. जय.
And we hope you subscribe. I think the price is about 200 rupees per copy. And please contribute your articles and also be the link person to get good poetry, good literary criticism, good essays for the journal. So we have our best wishes and we'll collectively support Ravindra Kumar Swain, the poet, to carry this forward. Thank you.
And also we will make sure that, we will contribute, Ravi Babu ensured that we will create a corpus, whatever it is, and then we will contribute so that this continues, And such a, एक दीपक सामंतराय, आइए प्लीज. दीपक भाई इधर आए. हाँ. जयंत बाबू wrote,
Several important Odia poets, particularly young poets, and many of them are young women poets, owe their introduction to English audience through Jayanta Mahapatra. He was very keen that good Odia poetry be translated into English. So our friend and a member of our festival, Sri Deepak Samantray, has taken the initiative to edit his English collection translations. So today we are only showing the cover. The book is in press. And what have we got there? Huh. So we are grateful to Deepak Samantray. Please tell a few words about the collection.
We'll say a few words about, Jayanta's works. Collection.
Yeah. This is basically an anthology of the poems which was translated by Jayanta Mahapatra, starting with the 13th century up to 1976. And 36 poets have featured in that. So some were left out, some very important omissions were there. And it was released in 2009 in the presence of Jayant sir. So now after quite a while, I thought that this must be updated. More poets should be included and another edition should be brought out. So this is a work in progress. We are on it. We are on the job. I think within a month's time, it will be ready. I'll be taking all your address and I will get in touch with all of you once it is published. So please support it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And at 7 hours. No.
The title of the book was selected by obviously the one and only Jayant Mahapatra, Seven Horses and Endless Silence.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है. What a lovely silence and reminding Jayanta Babu. Let's check out, there the people, Mani Rao wanted to come on Zoom and say a few words. He has given blurb and endorsed this book. Is any possible? Mani, are you there? You can see, interact with the poets. Please, back there. Yeah. Is there anyone on the Zoom? There's a wider world there. We are connected to the world through Zoom. Meanwhile, I would like to invite Devdas Babu to give his uh, address to all of us and inspire as always you have done, sir.
Hello, am I audible? In a certain sense, I belong to the Chandrabhaga family. From one side, Jayant Mahapatra, and we shared the same neighborhood in Cuttack. On the other side, I also belong to the family of Patnaiks because my mentor, Akhay Mahanti, happens to be the Mamu of the current Vice Chancellor. And so, thereby all children, they call me Mamu. So in both ways, I'm quite close to Chandrabhaga. As close as perhaps our guest house is from the river, which is now lost. And through the poetry of Chandrabhaga, we're trying to stay in touch with that again. Now is the Poetry Festival. I would like to go back to Jayant Mahapatra to understand the meaning of poetry. But before that, I'll tell you that I'm a night person. I hate to get up at all. And if I have to, I stretch my morning at least till 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock or sometimes 3 o'clock. But now the arrangers here, they claim that you have to come here at 10 o'clock. I did come. And so you imagine I'm a sleep deficit person this morning. Now, when I was much younger, going from school to college, I didn't like the mornings. So I told my father that, Bapa, why the mornings are like this? It used to be quite interesting when I was much smaller. So my father said, you are growing up. You are growing up. So as you grow up, you lose your mornings. That freshness and that beauty of the morning is lost. You stretch your sleep as much as you can, but then you have dreams, and sometimes dreams can be nightmares, and you can feel utterly helpless. the paper you read in the morning, the cup of tea, and you really wait for a morning which is, as Bapu told me some time back, another Chandrabhaga stalwart, that Devdas Mamu, why there are no good poem on morning in Odia or perhaps in any language for last 50 years. And which is true. We write on all sorts of times in a day. And more poetry, of course, goes to the nights. But morning gets very little from the poetry, from the modern poetry. Even Mahabharata didn't offer much about the morning. There are counting of dead bodies in the evening, but morning is preparation for another day of war. So there was no poetry available. So, as I told you, that I love nights of Katak, and where I lived, not very far away from John Mahapatra's house, if you go through his poetry, you'll get a lot of darkness, lot of dismal matters. I wonder if there was a poem on a morning which will energize you. And there were birds, there were all kinds of noises, and the nights and the darkness. So, if I can find out, he had written in a paper called Delaware Review an article. If some of you have heard that, read that, then that is a very interesting article where he talks about the plight of a poet, either the reader of the poetry or the poet who writes poems. In both ways, there is a stranger, and that stranger has to be identified. You don't know when the stranger enters into your room, either as a writer of a poem, and when you meet the stranger trying to understand his poem. So I had marked it somewhere. If I can handle this, give me a minute, then I'll try to go to that little part in which Jayant Mahapatra writes about the origin of poetry. Here is something about Jayant Mahapatra's own location. A brown dust rises from the dirt road beside my house and stings my eyes. Tinkunia Bagicha in Cuttack. A familiar film tune from a record shop drifts into my ears. The sound of a bicycle bell softens and vanishes. Two mongrels howl, etc., etc. This is the setup, or this is where the stage is set for the living of Jayant Mahapatra. Now, poetry is the stranger within oneself. The stranger, the poet, eventually has to face. This stranger often has to ask, who am I? Where do I come from? It is a personal thing, the writing of poetry, with its urgency of finding him, finding the stranger again, and to know more about the business of writing poetry. If I have not lost it. Well, there is a kind of question and answer, as much as I recall, because I lost that piece. The conversation between the poet, in this case Jayant Mahapatra, and the stranger, which is his poetry, which has entered into his study room. So he says, read your poem. The stranger reads the poem. What does it mean? The stranger slightly awkwardly says, it doesn't mean anything. He says, read it again and try to find a meaning to it. So they read the poem again and again. But all they could find is just some anomaly. And he says there is nothing but a few anomalies, nothing more to present. So both of them agree that the poetry is nothing much except some anomalies. And this is the stranger with whom the poet, in this case Jayant Mahapatra, talks very interestingly. And then he says that despite this being an anomaly, I draw out a paper and try to write a poem. That night, the same time, and at some point of time, Jayant Mahapatra used to write one poem every night. He had told me, with writing in English, sitting at Kotak was not easy. And in order to practice writing poems in English, he used to write one poem every night in English. And that is how the bulk, and that is how it is over, it developed. So he said that he wrote poetry despite its anomalous, despite its meaninglessness, despite there is no tangible offering you get out of that poem or poetry. What he got? Memories. To inscribe his memories in poetry. And he says that if anything is stronger than time, greater than time, surpass time, and retain time, that is memory. Time gets lost, but memory doesn't get lost. Memory is there. So he says, because of this memory, we escape all kind of frustrations. Because of poetry, because of words, we join words, make poetry. So all kinds of frustrations we escape. Even hunger, even our craving for sex, even our craving for pleasure, outright pleasure. All these things we can overcome through poetry. So he said in the concluding sentence of that article that when we join words and when we bleed, we only bleed through those words. That was his conclusion and his perception of poetry. So I thought this is a good beginning for the Poetry Festival to think of Jayant Mahapatra, whose reminiscences we carry. And I'm grateful that you have given me a patient hearing. Thank you very much.
We are requesting Mamu to read a small poem. You have they only have since the river is flowing and poetry is flowing, Subhasita, can you come in here? And she has two lovely books, very luminous poetry she writes. All of you are, familiar with her poetry and has been part of Chandrabhaga since ages. So please welcome and congratulate a release of 2 books, yeah, 2 books. हाथ में, हाँ, please. So this is Chandrabhaga, very open, in terms of poetry and receiving poets and their new works. So you feel free if you have any collections here and there. And I'm reminded, as Professor Mohanty keeps reminding, this is also about, memory, smriti. And people who come here from the forest, they relate to their memories. So here's Subhasita. Say something.
रुद्रविलास मोर द्वितीय उपन्यास समस्त नमस्कार बिना संपर्क भी बहुत गुड़े संपर्क थाए दुनिया रे बोध हुए मु तो विश्वास करे बिना कौन नाम रे बिना कौन ना रे बिना कौन परिचय रे भी बहुत गुड़े संपर्क हो पारे जदि आम तैयारी करि परिबा जदि आम ताको नहीं कि आगो को बढ़ी परिबा रुद्रविलास सेमती किछि कथा कहे गोटे झीवर गोटे स्त्री लोक आ शेष गोटे माँ हबार जर्नी गोटे माँ हबार यात्रा रे तार इच्छा तार आकांक्षा तार प्रेम तार प्रणय रुद्रप्रयास तारी उपर कथा कहे आ गोटे कवि बही हूँ बन्हिका जोटा कविता बहीटे आज यूजुआल जमती पोएट्रीज मैं लिखे सेमती कौन सी प्रेम कविता बन्हिकार आपण पाइबेनी तेणु क्षमा करेंगे तेबे आपण माने जदि भी केबे बह मानकु सामना सामनी होंती भाबुची आशा करूची आपण मानकु भल लागेबा धन्यवाद
We just take, a few seconds if John Parmar Sahib is here, on the Zoom. Chandrabhanu, can you check it out, please? Just a moment. And then we will come to the end of the, plenary session, the opening session of 12th edition Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival. And then, some tea and then also we will speak on transcendental poetry. So, Jayanta Babu, hi. Chandrabhanu. हाँ सर अभी अब चाय चाय सर्व करके सर अभी ब्रेक और कंटिन्यू अच्छा कंटिन्यू कर लेते हैं चलिए so Asubabu is here to speak about who is the best, he's here and he will speak on reflect on poetically and transcendental poetry Asubabu आइए हाँ वही से बात कर he's there
I will stand. Esteemed dignitaries in the dais and all the fellow poets who have congregated here for this Chandrabhaga Poetry Festival. And this trends in Odia poetry, the topic, I have been asked a number of times to speak about it. And it's only because from time to time, the new poets are joining and they might not be knowing what are the different trends, but who are very much conversant with Odia poetry. They have no difficulty in knowing what are the trends. So I will be trying to be very short, but when I sometimes squeezed it very small, make it very short, somebody commented that I have failed to elaborate it. But I don't like to elaborate because if you elaborate trends in Oriya poetry, it may take quite a long time. So I will try to only touch upon the various aspects that is have been written and being written now in this Oriya field of Oriya poetry. Actually, any given frame of time, the poetic expressions that usually they exhibit multiple trends. Why? Because the complexities surrounding the poets of a given period will be different. And the manner in which the poet tries to comprehend these complexities and comprehend these realities, and it is his viewpoints, his approach towards these complexities will also make a change. So if you look back in the post-independence era, we find three distinct trends of poetry that was written during those periods. The progressive poetry in the 30s and led by Ananta Patnaik, Sachirauta and many others. And there was a stream of romantic poetry also led by Radha Mohan Gandnayak, Mahadharman Singh, Vinod Nayak, etc. And there is a trend of modernist poetry which came around between 1950 to 1960, and that dominated the Oriya scene of Oriya poetry for nearly 2 decades. And this poetry, modernist poetry or modernism, brought out a significant change in the style of expression in Oriya poetry. A new idiom of poetry was created, and that influenced generations of poets. And even now, those who are writing poetry, they are directly or indirectly are influenced by this trend, which was initiated, and a new poetic language, which is in the form of free verse or verse liber, was initiated and introduced in the field of Oriya poetry. But this poetry has a deficiency because it got alienated from the local milieu. It very much dependent upon certain Western concepts like loneliness, death, alienation, all these things were influenced this poetry. And because of this, we lost the readers. The readers who are earlier were attached to poetry, they got alienated from this stream of poetry. But this realization came after 1980s, and the poets started writing differently. They were trying to be addressing the local milieu, nature. So that is, you can come, many people, many critics, they call it a return to the roots. So returning to the roots was happened after 80s and 90s and 90s. And the poets, this trend of to return to the roots and addressing the local and the colloquial and incorporating them in their poetry and trying to be more intimate, more communicative to the readers. So this was how it happened in the 80s and 90s. And when we see this change, we find diverse voices. Even though there is a change, we find, as in the beginning I told, that multiple trends will be there. So many poets, they addressed, addressed the individual and the collective in a fast changing world. Many poets, they addressed the metaphysical, the spiritual aspects of life. And there was a romantic trend inherently, internally continuing in Oriya poetry, and it is still continuing by now. Because the young poets, what I see nowadays, they write a lot of love poetry. And a lot of books are coming out on love poetry. Actually, Oriya Oriya language, Oriya literature has a very uh, strong past of love poems. Centuries ago, when the Buddhist love poetry was written, and later on in the modernist era and other in the romantic poets, especially, they write this love poetry. But now the attitude towards love has changed. Durga is here. He has got a book. His name is Premo Eka Vilupta Pakhirana. Love is the name of an extinct bird. So that is how a contemporary poet like Durga is looking at love. So love poetry is still being written, and there will be obviously romantic expressions by the young generation before they come face to face with the social realities. And the social realities, which is, in my opinion, became a very strong trend. Though Professor Mohanty once told me that still romanticism is the main trend in Odia poetry, isn't it? You told me, sir. Anyway, but this social realism or society reflecting the social reality has become a dominant trend, because there are so many things that are happening in the current situation. I will just read out because if I elaborate, it will take more time. There are major upheavals after 90s, after the new liberal economy was introduced. India adopted the new economic policy of liberalization, privatization, and globalization. A culture of consumerism came into existence. The market and media influenced lives of citizens as never before. Rampant exploitation of natural resources in the name of development and suppression of people's movements, protecting it became the order of the day. Apart from this, there are old processes of social exploitation, caste, communal violence, atrocities against women, bonded labor, unabated hunger and starvation, degradation of environment, etc., which are enough to agitate any sensitive mind. Such a situation warranted protest and resistance. How did these contemporary Oriya poets respond to this? Yes, the Oriya poets have played a part in the collective dissent. Poets, whether they were liberal humanists, socialist, or leftist radicals in their thinking, they have raised their voice and has been raising also voices of protest. There are Oriya poets who are very much concerned about the destruction of environment and destruction of village life. The all-encompassing market and ever-polluting politics have entered the village sphere. The poets yearn for the past and green surroundings, the rivers, the harvest, and the human fellow feeling, which is getting lost. Their poetry has created a new images of the village reality, which reflect the plight of farmers, poverty, and struggle for survival. So this is the situation under which the social reality is conceived by the Oriya poets. And there have been happenings in Kalinganagar, as you know, and Kandhamal riots. And there are also events where the Dalit houses have been burnt by upper classes. So all these things have been, the issues have been taken up by poets. And a lot of poetry has been written and they have been compiled in form of anthologies. And you can find one on the Kalinganagar killing of Adivasis. Even Jayanta Mahapatra wrote a very powerful poem on this very shortly after it happened. And so this type of protest has been there from the Oriya poets. And Of course, there have been progressive poets who have been continuously raising their voices of protest against any sort of exploitation, the economic policies, and the things that is happening throughout the world. And we must remember that yesterday, Rennie Woods was killed by the forces of in Minnesota or Minneapolis, and this is so similar things might be happening in our country also. So poets are very conscious about what is happening around them. And two more distinct trends which have attracted a lot of poets. And very powerfully they have depicted this form of social reality. That is, one is the Dalit consciousness and the consciousness of the Adivasis to exert, to establish their identity, establish their history and their culture. And the age-old exploitation and degradation of humans in the caste system has been strongly opposed by these Dalit poets. And starting when it was started in Maharashtra in 1970s, but in Oriya poetry it came in the beginning of the century, and a number of Oriya poets, many of them will be have been participating in Chandrabhaga, and this year also will be participating. Vasudev is there, Pidambar Tarai, and there is a lot of young poets will be participating tomorrow. They are mostly from Western Orissa, like Chandan Nag, Subrat Varik, and all those people. They use a different type of poetic idiom, which is different from the conventional poetry. They use their folk elements, and they use poetic expressions with a subversive effect. That is the main thing about their poetry, Dalit poetry, which impels us to think about our society and our differences. And the feminist poetry has also taken roots in Oriya poetry. Here Aparna is there, and Swapna, and Chirasri, and Shelly is there. So all these ladies, actually feminist poetry is not necessarily become the stronghold of women. There are also people like Jayanta Mahapatra. He has written a number of poems castigating the atrocities against women. And the new generation of poets, feminist poets, their voices are very fresh, their language is different, and they have been expressing themselves very powerfully. And I hope that this trend of feminist trend in Oriya poetry will continue with greater vigor. And I wish them that they will establish themselves in the arena of Oriya poetry as a very specific trend. So to conclude, what we find that Oriya poetry has multiple trends, and romantic trend is there. There is a trend on social realism. There is a trend on Dalit consciousness. There is a trend on feminist expressions. And all these things makes the Oriya poetry, it's multifarious expressions are coming into force. And today, with all these aspects, Oriya poetry is coming together. And we as poets, we believe the poetic fraternity in Orissa, they believe that obviously that we have to influence the society and the readers and the events. And I feel the strength of poetry and the force of poetry will be there for times to come. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद sir for giving such a rounded picture of trends in Odia poetry. We have Jayant Parmarji online who has designed the beautiful cover of this book River of Songs. So Jayant Parmarji, आपको आवाज आ रही है?
हेलो 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 चालू से हेलो
he's there. I
हाँ
can see.
आवाज आ रही है
Thank
मेरी हेलो हेलो हेलो
Yeah, gents. Good
हेलो
morning. We can hear you. At least I can hear you. Good morning.
थैंक यू
Okay, we have Prabal ji.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको हेलो
हाँ, जरूर आ रहे
मेरी
हैं,
आवाज आ रही
जरूर
है
आ रहे हैं।
हाँ पहले तो मैं बेहद ममनून हूँ अश्विनी जी का बहुत प्यारे दोस्त भी हैं और बहुत अच्छे पोएट भी हैं और अराकी ने चंद्रभागा पोएट्री फेस्टिवल का मैं बेहद शुक्रगुजार हूँ हेलो हेलो
Yes, yes.
तो मुझे एक आध महीने पहले ये अश्विनी का फोन आया कि भाई आपको ये रिवर ऑफ सॉन्ग के लिए कि आपने कवर डिजाइन बनाना है तो मुझे बेहद खुशी भी हुई कि ये पूरे चंद्रभागा पोएट्री फेस्टिवल में भी जो रीड की गई पोएम्स उसको भी इसमें शामिल किया गया है और मैंने पहले भी पढ़ चुका था इन लोगों को सबको तो बहुत से शेड्स हैं इसमें ये कलेक्शन में वैसे भी ये मैगजीन जो है उसमें बहुत सारे शेड्स नज़र आते हैं और इसके हिसाब से मुझे एक कवर डिजाइन बनाना था तो वो जितने कलर्स जो हैं वो मैंने इसमें शामिल किए और ये कवर डिजाइन बनाया लेकिन मुझे अभी ये मिला मेरे व्हाट्सएप पर संयोग गीता ने भेजा है तो मुझे इतना ऐसा नहीं था कि इतना खूबसूरत छपेगा और वाकई रिवर ऑफ सॉन्ग का जो ये कवर डिजाइन है बहुत खूबसूरत छपा है और नज़में तो हैं ही पोएम्स वगैरह जो अंदर हैं वो तो वो तो जवाब ही नहीं उसका तो सबको मेरी तरफ से मुबारकबाद और मुझे शामिल करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका थैंक यू
Thank you very much. इसके साथ ही इनॉग्रल सेशन को हम क्लोज करते हैं मैं अश्विनी जी को वोट
अब अभी वोट ऑफ थैंक्स अभी देना, हाँ हाँ हाँ, अभी दे दें वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। वोट नहीं देना है वैसे, बाय द वे बैलेट पे नहीं देना है, पेपर बैलेट पे देना है, ईवीएम नहीं यूज करें आप। हाँ
Thank you very much for all of you to have come and braved the sunlight. I hope this will get better and better as the day goes along. It will start becoming nicer and more pleasant. We now would like to announce, thank you so much again for braving the morning. And we would like you to take a 10-minute break and I've asked tea to be served here. नहीं यहाँ पे बुला दिया मैंने और and then I would also like to urge all of you to buy a copy of the book that was released just now for 200 rupees each. Okay, so thank you so much. Yes, the journal तो बोल दिया है हाँ
नहीं, हमारा is discount about almost 60%. 60%. The regular price is 499, and you can see the production. So we have subsidized it with the help of Centurion University, IKS, and Indian Novels Collective. We invested a lot, so that subsidy is available. Thank you. अब हम सेशन भी शुरू कर सकते हैं if चाय पी लेते थोड़ा सा ब्रेक ले हाँ little break we take हाँ yeah to purchase the book. Please buy the book. Please buy the book. Everyone, please buy the book. Please even it must go to France as well. I mean, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, sign also. We will do the sign also, signature also. Yeah, please sign. Durga Babu, हाँ 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 किताब ले लिया ना हाँ हाँ मौसमी किताब book is available there. Book ले ले हाँ book is available there देख ले हाँ हाँ समझ बाबू अपना हाथ रख देंगे बुक पे तो अच्छा हो जाएगा। या जैसे हाँ सर। हाँ थोड़ा भीड़ निकल, उड़ीसा में कहाँ भीड़ है, भीड़ तो दिल्ली में होता है, बॉम्बे में। हाँ, ये भीड़ नहीं है, ये भीड़ नहीं है ना, भीड़। हाँ 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 क्राउड है। सो मनु कविता कैसा लगा, देखा? हाँ ये ना देखा, बहुत लगाया, मेहनत किया है मैंने। दवाई लेना पड़ता है सच। हाँ तो रात में दवाई लिया मनुआ को पढ़ने में याद है पिछली बार कितना टाइम हुआ। So brother, how is everything? Big brother. Thank you. I will try and
गाली बजाऊंगी, कोई नहीं दिखेगा, कोई पॉइजन भी नहीं मिलेगा।
I will only be there for you. नहीं नहीं हम करेंगे, my friend is there, he will take you to France.
फ्रांस जाके क्या करूं, मुझे
It's
उड़ीसा
such a
पसंद है।
beautiful villa he has.
When you come back to France,
Yeah,
you have to
come to.
email in advance.
I will come.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the
You know,
US.
now I'm it's emerit.
Emeritus.
So some liberty,
Yeah.
but I'm too much tired because I work much more.
That always happens
Yeah,
when, when you become emeritus.
Of course. Everyone wants you.
So you are also coming to Banaras?
No, no,
You are not coming to Banaras.
no, because
Only musician come to the
no.
I know. I mean, like you come there, I will also sing. You
I'm
know.
a
My
musician
great guru,
too, you know.
great guru Chandu Lal passed it. Who can you know? I'm weak. Yeah, I'm Drupad. I don't know. We are from Agra. 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 So we don't sing Drupad. Drupad is coming from Bihar, Sitamarhi, and other places, and Drupad is also in Banaras. But there is a hybrid Drupad they sing in Banaras. So that's fantastic. I'm gonna be there for 3-4 days full every year. And this is where my epic poem is located, my Banaras poem. So I will do my, also.
We spoke about your book, this book.
So, yeah,
I didn't know the name.
yeah. This is Banaras.
Let me say Benares.
Benares, Abul Fazal, you mentioned Benares,
Yeah.
and Varanasi.
And it took me long time to understand Varanasi is the Benares place.
Yeah, Varanasi is a government, the colonial government of
Like Mumbai. Like Mumbai. Like Mumbai.
Yeah. But it's like any rickshaw puller, any guy on the street is Banaras.
I don't know what is this town.
If you say Banaras,
It's an official name.
nobody would understand,
Official name?
Yeah. Something like,
Nobody knows.
something like Prayagraj.
ସାର୍ କହିଲେ ସେଠି ଲାଗିଛି।
ନାଇଁ ଏଇଠି ପଡୁଥିବ
Good afternoon, everybody. Your attention, your attention. Please see, we have some products displayed here on the table here. This is from a startup, Sangam Designs, part of the Patnaik family again. So you can just take a look, and if you would like to either take anything or place orders, you're more than welcome to do so. Thank you.
These products are from the same company that has made your bags.
आप थोड़ा वीडियो चालू कीजिए because the pictures are not coming.
Hello, 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 check. Hello, check. Hello, hello. Hello, check. Hello, hello, hello. ନା 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 ତାପରେ ଅଡିଓ ଆସୁନି କଣ କରିବା ଅଡିଓ ଆସୁନି କରେ ଏଟା ମୋ ଅଡିଓ ଟା ଗଲା